Okay, so we're back with another accent feedback video. Once again on French, and I did some pre-listening, and someone's already given some good feedback. As they pointed out, yeah, when you have the, I believe, what is this? Yeah, when you have the third person plural conjugations of most words, which is usually have like an ent ending. Those are gonna be silent, right? So, if you have JOU ENT, that's going to be pronounced jou. RIENT is going to be pronounced ri. That sounds right to me. Yeah. So, anyways, but let's get into it.
Le vent souffle
Oh, and right, disclaimer, I'm not a native French speaker, but I still think I'll be able to point some stuff out that will be helpful. But take my pronunciations and the things I have to say with a slight grain of salt. But I'll try to be clear about when I'm not certain about certain things.
Le vent souffle doucement à travers les feuilles des arbres.
Okay, so on les feuilles des arbres, I'm kind of hearing feuilles almost.
On souffle doucement à travers les feuilles des
Les feuilles, when I'd expect to hear les feuilles, les feuilles des arbres. And also on the word arbre, I'm kind of hearing almost.
doucement à travers les feuilles des arbres.
Right, like I'm the second syllable, or I mean, I guess it's not a second syllable, but the rest of the consonants after the AR, kind of not hearing, right? When I'd expect to hear arbre, I would expect to hear that the other B and the R after the first AR, which I'm not really hearing.
Rien en bruissement léger.
Okay. Also, right, with when you have double S in French and also in a lot of other Romance languages, we're going to expect to hear a voiceless fricative, right? So a sa instead of a z. So I think I heard bruissement, something like that.
En bruissement léger.
Yeah, bruissement, but we want bruissement léger.
Les enfants riant et jouaient.
Right, and then so this is the thing that the other guy had pointed out, which I talked about at the beginning of the video.
Faisant entendre des sons joyeux.
Okay, and like on entendre, I'm kind of hearing like it almost sounds like the words ending in de, but at least per the transcription, right? Entendre, the infinitive, right? We want the dr, and again, you don't, especially when you're speaking quickly, things can get dropped. But at least in this context, I would expect to have heard faisant entendre des sons joyeux, and so on and so forth.
Dans l'air frais du printemps, des sons joyeux. Dans l'air frais du printemps.
Okay, I don't know if this was an intonation thing, but something about l'air frais sounded a bit odd.
Des sons joyeux. Dans l'air frais.
I'm almost hearing like maybe it's the vowel as well. Hold on.
Dans l'air frais.
Okay, yeah, so I feel like on l'air, I'm kind of almost hearing l'heure, like L-E-U-R. Dans l'air frais du printemps. I guess that's kind of what I'm expecting to hear, but I'm not quite hearing that, and not articulating the problem particularly well, but we're going to move on for now.
Des sons joyeux. Dans l'air frais du printemps.
And also, well, I guess maybe it depends on what accent you're going for. I want to say that the way you pronounce printemps is acceptable in Quebec, but again, I'm also not particularly well versed on the Quebecois accent. I'm kind of hearing
Frais du printemps.
Printemps, and I think that's acceptable in Quebec. But if you do happen to be going for a metropolitan accent, I'd expect your printemps instead of the
Frais du printemps.
instead of this prin that I'm kind of hearing.
Plus loin, un oiseau chante une mélodie douce, mais lente.
Okay, we're gonna keep going. Yeah.
Mais lent, les notes graves et aiguës avec habileté. Le soleil brille d'une lumière éblouissante.
Right, and also, so again on this, when it sounds like when there's the r or r or whatever at the end of words, they sometimes are getting dropped when I don't expect them to be, like en lumière.
D'une lumière.
Right, I'm kind of hearing lumière almost, which maybe is that. I know it's going to be slightly different with Québécois French. Um, and I want to say like something along the lines of like lumière might be fine, but again, I don't know for sure, right? But I'm expecting to hear more of that consonant than I am. How about that?
Brille d'une lumière éblouissante, illuminant la nature qui s'éveille, après les lumières éblouissantes, illuminant la nature,
Okay, and on nature, I'm kind of hearing nature almost.
illuminant la nature,
The nature, I'm kind of hearing like a schwa, like in le or re or de. I'm hearing nature, but I want nature, la nature.
éblouissante, illuminant la nature qui s'éveille après l'hiver. C'est une table vivante
Okay, yeah.
après l'hiver. C'est une table vivante
Okay, right. And with tableau, we want un tableau, right, instead of une that I'm hearing.
l'hiver. C'est une table vivante en symphonie de sons et de couleurs qui enchantent nos tables vivantes en symphonie de sons et de couleurs.
Okay, and like, so you pronounce de fine when you said symphonie de son, but then when you say et de couleurs, I'm kind of hearing et des couleurs, I think.
Des sons et des couleurs.
Right, et des couleurs, but I'd want et de couleurs.
Qui enchantent nos sons.
Okay. I think you would also benefit from speaking a little slower. It sounds like with some words, you're kind of maybe pausing at times to, I don't know, prep the pronunciation, and it's kind of throwing off your prosody, your rhythm. Your rhythm sounds a bit bizarre to me. Then again, it's always going to sound a little off when you're reading compared to when you're speaking, right? People don't have the same, I guess, prosodic qualities when they're improvising versus when they're reading. But
le vent souffle doucement à travers les feuilles des arbres, créant un bruissement léger. Les enfants riant et jouaient.
Yeah, and also I feel like you might want to neutralize the stress a little more. It's hard for me to tell because I'm a native English speaker, which is of course a stressed language. But I want to say that I'm hearing a little too much stress on certain syllables, like on souffle, like I was kind of hearing souffle or something along those lines.
Le vent souffle doucement.
Right, le vent souffle instead of like le vent souffle doucement à travers les feuilles des arbres. Right, I expect things to be relatively neutral, and when we're talking about neutral, we're largely talking about say volume, length, and pitch, I guess. Of course, there will be variability in those three qualities, right? Specifically with volume, specifically with pitch, intonation is going to exist, and perhaps as you're going through the end of the sentence, the pitch gets lower over time. But these kind of these kind of like small, quick changes in volume and in pitch, I would expect to hear less of that when you're reading a French passage than if you were to be speaking English, right? So
Doucement à travers les feuilles des arbres, créant un bruissement léger. Les enfants riant et jouaient, faisant entendre des sons joyeux.
Right, like en faisant, I'm kind of hearing faisant, but I want faisant. Faisant entendre des sons joyeux dans l'air frais du printemps. So yeah, I want a little more neutrality, if that makes sense. So yeah, hopefully this was helpful, and yeah, good luck on your French learning journey.